Hughes.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Well, I rise to speak on this matter of public importance, and indeed, is there any issue in our country at the moment that is not more important than the issue of housing? It is talked about at barbecues, it's spoken about around the water coolers at work, it's spoken about at dinner parties. We speak about it constantly in this place. But most worryingly for me, Deputy Speaker, is that for the first time in my lifetime, we have teenagers who are now suffering mental health issues and talking about their stress and anxiety about being unable to buy a home. I do not recall when I was a teenager back in the 1980s, I recall worrying about a lot of things, but never around whether or not I would be able to buy a home. And what we have had now, this government was elected on a campaign promise of cheaper mortgages, cheaper rents, and it has failed abysmally. I have no doubt that the intention is there. The 1.2 million homes that they've spruiked, the billions and billions of dollars going into trying to solve this problem, but it is not being solved. There hasn't been the houses built that the former housing minister and now the current housing minister say will be built, and I accept a lot of the things that the minister just said then about housing being an absolute social imperative. And, Deputy Speaker, for example, the Bank of Mum and Dad has now become the sixth biggest lender for homes. That means, for the first time in the history of this nation, whether or not you own a home will largely depend on the circumstances of your birth. That is a travesty, and that is something that we must fix. It is something I came into this parliament as a former planning, environmental and housing lawyer, having worked in both the private sector and the public sector, and I said in my first speech in this place, I want to fix this housing. We need to fix housing supply. With all respect to those on the other side, the minister talking about having meetings with state ministers, that's been occurring for over a decade and nothing has changed. It's a talk fest. What it needs to do, we need to have an empowerment of the local government sector. We have now got the slowest and the lowest numbers of housing approvals almost in the history of local government, which started in 1919 in the great state of New South Wales. So what is needed at that level? First of all, the reason that DAs are taking so long, Deputy Speaker, is because we have a chronic shortage of planners in this country. But when I hear those on the other side talking about TAFE, free TAFE and all of the other allegedly fabulous things they're doing to address the skills sector, I don't hear anyone over there talking about what they're doing to address the chronic shortage of planners in this country, who are the ones that are needed to, first of all, prepare the DAs for developers and then to also approve them at local council level. They are also the experts who have to do the upzonings and have to do the rezonings in all of the local government areas throughout our country in order to upzone, in order to then increase the housing supply. I have never heard the Minister for Housing, I haven't heard the Minister for Infrastructure, I haven't heard the Minister for Local Government talking about any of this. So that says to me, Deputy Speaker, that with all the goodwill and intention in the world on that side, and I have no doubt that they want to fix the housing problem, they haven't yet. There is no one on that side, with respect to them, that even understands the problem at a grassroots level. And until we start looking at that, and until we start talking about that, and planning process and policies I hear the member for Hasluck. The member for Hasluck has exactly the same things being said to her in her electorate as they're saying to me in Hughes. They are saying, you've been in for 2.5 years, your government, and you haven't fixed our housing issues in Hasluck. And you know it, we know it. The whole country knows it. Deputy Speaker, we must fix this housing. We must fix this housing for the
Time
good.
has expired, and it being now 4:30.
Authorised, Jenny Ware, Liberal Party, Sutherland.